Hi, I'm Josh, and I did my presentation on schizophrenia. And I chose this topic because it was interesting to me because how schizophrenia would create hallucinations, making it hard for people to live a regular life due to constantly hearing voices and seeing things. Also made me think of when there would be times when people would hear voices and they would feel sad, and it would be a sign of schizophrenia due to just hearing voices. And that created the question of, would hearing voices make us schizophrenic? What is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a chronic brain disorder, and it affects the way a person thinks, feels, and acts. It's hard to tell the difference between what is real and what is not real for them, and currently there is no cure for schizophrenia. What causes schizophrenia? Well, like I said in the last slide, currently it's unclear what causes schizophrenia, yet there are theories of the causes of schizophrenia and the cause of these hallucinations. And one of these theories is genetics. And for genetics, scientists believe that it may be hereditary due to seeing a pattern in families of schizophrenia. They also see a frequency of schizophrenia to be developed also. And for biology, scientists believe that there is an imbalance of brain chemicals or with neurotransmitters. And with the imbalance of chemicals, this would affect the way a brain reacts to the stimuli, which would explain why a schizophrenic has a hard time with sensory information compared to a person who is not schizophrenic. Also, the cause of these hallucinations are due to difficulty of processing different sounds, sights, smells, and taste. And the last one would be infections and immune disorders. And they believe that schizophrenia may be triggered by viral infections or immune disorders. An example of this would be like such a woman who would be pregnant and she has the flu, and later on the child who is born will have an increase of a risk of schizophrenia to develop. Signs of schizophrenia. So, some of the signs of schizophrenia is hallucinating, thinking you're being watched, inability to sleep, bizarre behavior, nonsensical way of speaking or writing, and strange body positioning. There is a research that I found in an article on, and it was on just spreading light on people who hear voices. And hallucinations occur more often auditory than being perceived, and a hallucination is a symptom that is related to 75% of people with schizophrenia, 20 to 50% of bipolar disorder, 40% in PTSD, and 10% depression with psychotic feature. This research helps shows that hearing voices isn't a mental illness, and hearing voices are complex. The article that I read on, it touched on many researchers being done with references being shown on it, and it shows supports the view that hearing voices is not a sign of mental illness, and finding out the differences with healthy people hearing voices compared to people with disorders such as schizophrenia. And there's a survey of 17 from 9 different countries that found a ratio of 1% to 84%, and college students who hear voices range from 13% to 71%. And these some researchers tested the general population also to be between 5% to 28%. It shows that 75% of people who report voices to be psychologically healthy. And these researchers mentioned that an auditory verbal hallucination usually depend on the gender, age, and culture. The difference between normal thinking of the inner speech and the voice hearing is what the message is. For instance, for inner speech messages, usually when people they hear hallucinatory voices, they don't recognize their own thinking. And for people with psychotic disorders, such as schizophrenia, the voices that they hear are usually negative. They would hear them saying things that are derogatory, accusations, commands, or even abuse. And these voices increase emotional responses such as anxiety that will be heightened, and also it makes these hallucinations to come up more often for them because of this. And for people that don't have a mental disorder, they would hear voices that would encourage them or call their name. And for the references I have, I used I think these are reliable because, such as psychologytoday.com, they verify their articles and the author provides references that are reliable from books of research that they provide on the website. And the Mental Health America is reliable because it's a nation leading community based nonprofit dedicated just for mental illness, providing information needed for them. And here's the quiz that I have, and it is: what is a sign of schizophrenia? A. Aggressive thoughts. B. Split personality. C. Hallucinations. And D. Good communication skills. And if you got the answer right, the answer is C. Hallucinations. And that is my presentation of schizophrenia.